Two things will inevitably happen whenever a home expires from the market. The first thing that happens is the seller is inundated with dozens and dozens of phone calls, all from local realtors claiming to have the secret sauce to sell their house that didn't sell the first time. The second thing that happens is that the seller will think, well, what am I going to do now? Should I go back and hire the same agent? Should I select a different agent? How do I go about that? Who's the most qualified? The first thing that you should do is relax. Some of the best houses in the best markets expire, and fortunately for us, we know that there are only a few things that make houses sell, and conversely, there are only a few things that make them not sell. The first thing I do whenever looking into an expired listing and why it didn't sell is their pricing strategy. Now, whenever I say that, most sellers hear the first syllable and that's it, which is price. Oh, he's going to beat me up on my price, he's going to tell me that I'm priced too high. That's just not always the case. I mean, sometimes it is. Sometimes your price is too high, but more often than not, we'll focus on all five syllables, pricing strategy, right? It's about more than just running comps. Anybody can run comps. Zillow can run comps. Comps play a big role in how to price properties, but that's not a pricing strategy. We have to make sure that the price that we select for your property has the greatest potential to get you the most showings, which brings you the most offers, which gets you the highest market value for your property. The second and equally important thing is the photos. We've all seen terrible photos on listings where you go through and clearly the agent or the owner took photos of the house using their cell phone and they forgot to turn on the lights and they forgot to open up the blinds. But yet, sometimes I see houses that have absolutely fantastic photos for their listings, but nobody's put much thought into how they're ordering them. We know that buyers are typically looking at 3 to 4 photos before they decide, okay, I'm interested in the property, I'm going to keep looking, or, oh, well, I'm not interested, I'm just going to move on. So whenever I see listings, and the first photo is the front of the house, and the second photo is, oh, what do you know, it's the front of the house, and the third photo is, oh, it's also the front of the house. I mean, make no mistake, curb appeal is really, really important, but, if I go through 5, 6, 7, 8 photos and I'm still not in the house, I'm probably going to lose interest. The third thing is the property description. One of the things that's so difficult about this business is that so much of it is science, and yet just as much of it is psychology. The property description is where we actually have an opportunity to express some emotion. Whenever I look through the MLS listing, or even on Realtor.com or Zillow, you have to scroll through a whole lot of text about the property before you get to the property description. Things like the amount of bedrooms and bathrooms, the amount of square footage, the acreage, all this good stuff. And so sometimes it gets a little bit irritating whenever I scroll through all that, I get to the property description and it says something like, beautiful 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom home on this much acreage. It's like, yeah, I already know that. I scrolled through a whole bunch of information to get to that. What we have to remember is that logic makes us think, but emotions make us act. So, it might be a really logical choice for a buyer. This house is close to where I work, it's got this many bedrooms, it's got the right square footage in the right school district, and that's all fine and well and good, and that will make us think about that house. But what makes us act is whenever I feel an emotional connection to that property. Anytime I list a house, I give my seller a sheet that says, the 5 or 10 things that I love most about my property, and I make them fill it out. The reason I do that is because whenever I look at my property description, I want to include that stuff in there. I want to know, what do people love about living here? That's the real secret sauce about getting more showings. There is immense value to having a realtor or real estate professional who really understands the science of how these listings work.